Nothing like having to talk a lot when you have a lung infection. Hello, welcome back or welcome to my channel. My name is April, and today I am going to be going over the best books I read this year according to Goodreads. I will absolutely do the worst books I read this year according to Goodreads. And I'm going to sort all my read books by average rating. I think that's the way you do this. And then I'm just going to look for all the books I read in 2022. The first best book I read according to Goodreads is... I actually read this one for my daughter. She really wanted me to read it. It's called The Hidden Kingdoms, and it's Wings of Fire, book number 3. My daughter loves this series. She's like flown through every single book possible. And I read this one with her. I only gave it 3 stars, but I know she would say it's a 5-star book for sure. They're good books. They're good kids' books. They're children's books. This book is technically not even out yet, but so far it has a 4.51 rating. Again, probably very low ratings. 49 ratings because it's not out yet. It comes out in January and is called 10 Signs You Need to Grovel by Kelly Siskind. I just finished this one. This is with the oldest brother. It is the second book. This story is like a small town romance. These brothers were all witness protection for 11 years. And now this story picks up with them as they're trying to come back into their lives and get back with the women they love. And the stories are all told from the male's perspective, which is a little bit different than I'm used to, but they're so good. The third book I read is another Wings of Fire book. It's book number 2, The Lost Heir. Again, I gave it 3 stars because I'm not a children's book reader. I just read these because my daughter wanted me to. The fourth book I read, the fourth best book I read is book number 2 in the Bonds That Tie series. This is Savage Bonds, and I think the first one kind of just introduces you to the story, but the second one really hooked me, and I gave this 5 stars as well. This whole series has just been nothing but an adventure and just so fun. Is it the best written book ever? Maybe not, but it is so addicting, and every time especially the audiobooks, every time I finish one, I had to immediately go into the next, and I'm not a binge reader, but yeah, this whole series probably will be at the top. The next book is another book that hasn't come out yet. No wonder it's getting high ratings. Woo! At a 4.42 rating. It is A Wicked Game by Kate Bateman. This, again, I adore and love Kate Bateman's books. I have loved almost every single one of them, especially in this series. Her friend goes off to war. They make a bet. He's a ship captain, and while he's a captain, he does get into like a prisoner of war situation on an island. And he has come back to town to have some vengeance against the map maker, and he doesn't know that she is the map maker rather than her father. So the whole thing is just they've always liked each other, but they always had this like cat and mouse game going on, and it was so good. 5 stars for me. It definitely deserves to be at the top. It only has 215 ratings, and it comes out December 27th. So grab this book. It is so good. The 5th best book is, again, another Bonds That Tie book. Honestly, I gave this one 3 stars. I don't know if it's because I didn't have the audiobook. The audiobooks are really great for me, but this one just felt like it didn't have as much going on as the previous books, but it did have a really great cliffhanger ending. So I definitely think it's a good one to read. If you like the series, continue on with it. I'm actually on the 5th book right now, and it's already starting out well. I already love it. The 6th best book that I read, and of course this is on here, is A Court of Silver Flames by Sarah J. Maas. Yeah, I kind of expect this book to be on here. You either love it or you hate it, and honestly, I loved it. I think, what did I give it? Oh, I give it 4 stars. You either love Nesta or you hate Nesta, and this is her redemption story, and it's a hot one. It is definitely a hot one. The 7th best book I read is actually a novella. I think these are all just at the top of the list because they barely get read. It's called Lady Amelia Takes a Lover, and this is by Sophie Darling. She was a new author for me. I wasn't really expecting much from this, but it was a hot little novella. These are like 2 artists that can't keep their hands off each other, and it was just really fun. Oh my god, the 8th book, 7th book, whatever. It's another Wings of Fire book. Shh, don't tell my daughter, okay? We're just gonna skip that one, okay? There's a lot of Wings of Fire books on this list, okay? And there's kids' books that I only read because I was forced to. What a surprise, another Bonds at Tie book, Blood Bonds, the 3rd book. That one I also gave 5 stars to. So we'll just move along. The whole series is like, you know, you either love it or you hate it. It's like one of those, again, that is just very polarizing, and I happen to love it. The 8th book, the 8th best book I read was The Dragon Republic by R.F. Kuang. Absolutely a 5-star read. This series is an amazing fantasy series. It just grips you and it keeps you going along with it, and it's one of my favorite fantasy series for sure. The 9th book. We'll go with that. 9th book. The Making of the Highlander by Elisa Braden. Oh my god, I was obsessed with these Highlander books. I don't really like Highlander historical romances, but these were just so good. In this one, he has a land dispute. He says that, you know, this can all be resolved if you win the Highland Games. And so he kind of, hang on, something in my eye. So he kind of involves that man's daughter to teach him how to do the Highland Games. And then in return, he teaches her how to be a lady so she can land a lord. And, you know, as they're doing their lessons, they're slowly falling for each other. And it's just so cute. There's kind of like a supernatural element to it because her best friend is a ghost. And yeah, I loved all of these. I think the 2nd or 3rd one is my favorite, but this one was really good too. And I still gave it 5 stars. So the last book I read that is considered the best book of the year, according to Goodreads, is Rule of Wolves by Leigh Bardugo. I DNF'd this book. I made it halfway. I read half of it, but I just got a little bored, and I was, I think, not in a mood to read fantasy. Will I finish it someday? Maybe. It's still on my shelf, but I can't guarantee it. All right, that's it from me. I will be doing the worst books that I read according to Goodreads as well, so I'll try and get that one up next week. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. If you read any of these books, please let me know, and let me know what you thought of them, because I loved most of them. I mean, I think the lowest one I gave was 3 stars. Oh no, the lowest is a DNF. Oops. Anyways, have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.